Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to join us. My name is Toby Thompson, Director of the studio here at Cranfield. Great to have you with us. And if you're watching the recording, even better to have you with us. Please watch to the end because there's a few messages and calls to action. If strategic marketing is your thing, you are in the right place. So stick around. We're going to be together for no more than 1 hour. And the reason we're sticking around is because we have some amazing people to join us and talk about the course. Deputy Course Director and 3 amazing students, 2 of them who have done the course already and 1 current student. So there's a reason for you to stay with us. We want this to be interactive, so please give us questions, comments, challenges, queries at any time using the Zoom text chat. You know how to use Zoom. We're not going to open the audio channels, just text chat. So at any time, if you have a query or a question, put it in the chat and we will do our best. I will do my best to try and answer that with the people that we have in the studio. We know that you have a choice to study strategic marketing pretty much anywhere. And we know also that you've done your homework around Cranfield. We appreciate that. But before we start, let's just remind ourselves what an amazing place Cranfield University is. We were just talking about how that fires me up hearing that choral music in a marketing video. You don't have to believe any of that, but everything that you saw there does take place on Cranfield's campus. So you're going to be with a bunch of engineers, aeronautical engineers and scientists when you study, and I'm sure you will, with us here at Cranfield. Thank you again for joining us. I am joined in the studio by greatness. I'm with Tamira King, who's Deputy Course Director for the course Strategic Marketing. I think you know, you'll have seen your face. I think everyone knows your face.
In the marketing brochures. We do that well, yeah.
And we're also joined, I mentioned earlier on that we're joined by some students. So we have 3 students joining us for the session. And let's prove that you're not artificial intelligence. So Yan Fen, can you give me a wave? Just to prove that you're real. Hey, look at that, 2 hands. Deepisha, give me a wave too, you're remote. And Lorraine, last but not least. See, that's proof. That's proof. So Deepisha and Lorraine in the middle and on the right did finish the course. Was it this year or was it? They finished it last year.
They would have finished in September.
September. Yeah. And so they know about the course, and Yan Fen is a current student. So your chance to ask pretty much any question around the course. What's it really like? Tamira might say some stuff about the course, but these are the guys that you need to really find out about. Before we go into Yan Fen, Deepisha and Lorraine, let's find out about you, Tamira. Tell us about your background. Okay. Why should people listen to and believe you? Where have you come from?
Firstly, welcome to this session. I'm Dr. Tamira King. I've been looking after the MSc in Strategic Marketing at Cranfield for about 10 years.
10 years?
Yes, so on and off. And I've got a PhD in consumer behaviour. I would say naughty consumer behaviour.
Is that returning stuff?
Yeah.
Buying stuff, using
stuff,
it,
yes,
and then returning
you remember one time.
Is that called naughty consumer behaviour?
So we call it de-shopping, technically.
De-shopping.
So it's people that buy things, wear them, use them,
Who would do
wear
that?
them for an interview. Lots of people would do that. So it's not shoplifting in their eyes, it's just a little bit naughty. So I'm looking at the psychology of what underpins naughty types of behaviour. So that's the research I published in, but I teach on the programme, Retail Omni-Channel Management. As you can see, it's about retail policies and returns, which is an area I've worked a lot in now. And I also teach CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management. Obviously familiar with the programme, been course director for numerous years, helped with the design of it, run the practice advisory boards, which is where we invite practitioners to tell us what's important for the programme and help us design it around what they think future graduates actually need to ensure that there's really strong employability amongst our students. And I've seen changes in the programme over the last decade, which hopefully have made it more fruitful and enjoyable for the students.
There's nothing you don't know about marketing.
No, all this programme.
Why is it called strategic marketing? What's the big deal?
Well, I think strategic aligns us with the perspective of the university, and the way that the course is structured. So we start off gently with consumer behaviour, accounting and finance, and we then roll into the final term, for example, where we do consultancy projects, real life projects, working on real companies with real problems, where students have to present to them and give them the final solution to whichever problem they have. Last year, for example, we had Bria Moretti, the Heineken brand,
Wow.
coming to talk to students. It's very hard to design marketing strategies for such a well-known and global brand and do that effectively, but we had a really good response to that. Maybe Lorraine and
We're
Depisha
going to
could
find out
tell
about
you
it. A
about.
bit intimidating as well.
Yeah, yes, I imagine for the students presenting back to the brand directors of Bria Moretti was intimidating, but they did
Wow.
really well. So every year we finalise the actual programme with one of these consultancy projects, and it's a secret till the brand or retailer turn up. The students don't know who it is, so they can't prepare, and they have a week where they can actually do research and have time to digest the problem and all the things about the company before they present back to them. So we start off with the modules and build up to giving them a strategic element in marketing, but also in leadership. We teach them about negotiations, management, which I think young folks already studied in term one. So they're able to position themselves in leadership for the future.
Wow, it doesn't sound full of theory. It sounds extraordinarily practical.
It is very
Hands-on.
practical. I mean, all the staff have research publications, PhD, so it's very steeped in traditional marketing theory, but very applicable. We work really closely with companies. Even this year, we've introduced for the first time internships where we can work alongside companies and students can get some work experience as well. But throughout the last 10 years, we've always had programs where companies can come in and students can do a thesis with a company. It didn't align with an internship and work experience, but they would actually work on real life company-based projects. And the consultancy project, again, has been running for 10 years. Students always love it, where the students actually work with real life companies. So yeah, it's very practical, very well applied. And that's to do with the advisory board that I mentioned at the very beginning, because we work and align ourselves so closely with these companies to make sure that our graduates are really employable and their skills are really current and needed by the industry.
I want to come back to that, how you stay current. But who do you think out there in the audience and people watching the recordings, who is a typical student who might come on this course? Is there such a thing as a typical student?
Well, students, we like them to have some work experience. So actually this current cohort, we've got a lot of students with engineering backgrounds,
Oh, wow.
which is really interesting. That's the first cohort where I've seen a large engineering.
What's the connection?
I wonder if it's to do with word of mouth and being from the same industry or from the same home countries, that's just how the cookies crumbled this year. We've got a lot of students with digital experience. This is the area where students are really interested in. So they've all got obviously an undergraduate degree in different aspects. Some might have management, but some not. They might have engineering, but they've got some work experience in, for example, digital marketing. So we like students to have experience. They have to have strong English, but we are running some pre-sessional courses now if their English is not up to scratch, which we can talk about later. And yeah, good work experience and a good drive to take their career forward. So I would say passionate, dedicated, motivated and enthusiastic students.
If you've just been described, then we definitely want to hear from you.
Yeah, this is the place.
This is the place. And also there are two new intakes. There's a new intake starting in
Yes,
March.
absolutely.
So it's a two intake per year.
Yeah, this is
thing.
the first year. We're just launching it. So we're delighted to invite you to come to our March cohort. It's exactly the same programme, just ran later in the year. So some things we will mix you with the January cohort, for example, maybe with a study tour. We'll invite you to guest speakers where they have in term 2, but it will be your term 1. So we're going to really try and align the two cohorts together. But we just saw this as an opportunity to launch 6 months into the year, a second invite. So if you missed your opportunity in September to get your visa ready, and you'd like to come now, this is a perfect opportunity. Or if this just aligns with your work current gaps at the moment, then we would be delighted to welcome you and talk to you about this opportunity.
I want to get myself on this course too, so you're going to beat me to it. Give us, if you can, Tamira, an overview of the course. I mean, are we talking one massively intense 1 year? How do you even begin to structure the course? What does it look like?
So the course is full-time.
Full-time.
1 year, separated into singular modules. Some of them are what we call integrated, so the assignment might be connected with another module. But just to start at the beginning, I'll explain that as we go along. You might start with at the moment, so Yang Fen could probably talk to you about what she's doing currently. She's done a bit of accounting and finance. She's done negotiations with Professor Javier Marcos. She's done the consultancy strategic marketing with Professor Vasilis. She's also done her visit to the Cadbury's factory, so she can tell you a little bit about the chocolate she might have tried and tasted the British chocolates that we're renowned for over here. Rolling into research methods. The end of term 1 is with my module, customer relationship management. And then we start, and we have a 3 weeks Christmas break normally, where students can go home, providing they let us know their travels because of visa requirements. We start again in January, which is with my module again, with retail, and the module is integrated with the CRM. So the modules are aligned together. Don't stress about that. I'll explain that when you start learning about all the assessments. The second module then rolls through again, similar 6 week, 7 week term. Then you've got your Easter break. And you'll also start, before that Easter break, thinking about your thesis and being allocated to a supervisor, because the third term is much more quiet in terms of taught learning. You'll be allocated a supervisor and a project. You will co-design your project with your supervisor, and you will work through the summer months with your supervisor on a one-to-one basis, and you will hand in that thesis in September. So it's a full year, September to September, full time. Some students do work. Maybe the girls can tell you about work experience that they have. And you work with our career service anytime throughout the year to help you with your job applications going forward from September. Some students have employment way before that.
It's as if you've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yanfeng, can I come to you? Because I want to hear a little bit more about the experiences that you've had. And I heard accounting and finance. That might scare a few of you already.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about yourself, first of all, and then tell us about accounting and finance.
Hi everyone, I'm Yanfeng from China, and now I'm a current student from strategic marketing. And about accounting and finance is really is very difficult for me because I'm a little bit fear of math. But now the very exciting news for us is this year we will not have exam, but only
Hey.
assignment.
So tell me, did you come from, Yanfeng, a marketing background, or were you an engineer? Tell us more about your background.
I'm from marketing, so before I have 6 years working experience, and my formal work is as a GTM, which means go-to-market. I'm mainly responsible for go-to-market strategies for our company's product.
So you joined the course in, was it September, October, and you've been with us a few months?
Yes, I joined the school like at the end of September, and we start from October, and now it's around almost 2 months, and
Wow.
I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, good. So my next question was, are you enjoying it? Is it a lot of work?
I think at the beginning it's so far so good. So I try to keep balance from study and also my own life.
We want to hear about the options, and we will find out about accommodation, about funding, and about life at the weekend too, because it's not all studies. Yanfeng, thank you. Stick around because we want to come back to you. Deepisha, can I talk to you too? Tell us more about your background and why you
Hi.
chose the course, and what are you doing now that you've left Cranfield?
Hi. So actually, it's very interesting to know that my background is not in marketing, at least not academically. So I come from law and business background, right? But I really wanted my creative side to be showcased and enhanced in a way that I actually work in it. So I did my experience. So professionally, I was working in marketing with the Times Group back in India. And there I was doing a lot of content development. I was doing campaigns. I was executing them. So really, consumer engagement, I'd say, was my core. And the reason why I did marketing and specifically strategic marketing is because I wanted a very decent balance of not only just creative aspect, but also my analytical skills to be used. So I felt that this was the reason. And when I looked through the modules, actually, so there were a couple of courses aligned. Uh, Most of them were in marketing. So it was marketing, it was strategic marketing, and something related to advertisement as well. But the reason why I specifically chose this course was because I could see the core modules, and it gave me like a 360-degree perspective in marketing, and also what I wanted, like strategy formulation as well. So I thought it was something, I get everything in a year. And that's why I opted for it.
So you clearly have a plan as to what you want to do by the sound of it.
Yes, I do. So at the moment, I am interviewing with couple of companies. I my student visa will be done, expires in Jan, right? So after I apply for PSW is where I can actually commit to a full-time role, being an international student. But I think it's brilliant that in the internship has started this year. I mean, I did one by myself last year, but that was also through the alumni of Cranfield itself, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been interviewing a lot. Um, a lot of recruiters ask for UK experience, and because we have done a lot of consultancy projects, we have done brand management with companies, so you can really leverage that, not just academically but also when you have internships. You get to show both things, that oh, I may not have directly worked in a company here in the UK, but I have done so many different
Mhm.
things, so I understand the market a bit.
And
So I
I've
think
got to
that's
ask
really
you,
good.
how was accounting and finance? Did you enjoy that module?
I didn't. I cried. We had an exam, so
Oh,
Mm.
I managed to pull it off. Yeah.
there's no exams now, right?
No,
Exams are
yeah,
gone.
yeah, exams gone for
Lucky.
accounting and finance.
Wow. Lorraine, I got to come to you next. Let's get it over
Hi.
with. You loved accounting and finance, I can tell.
No. So, yeah, no, maths is not my thing.
Not your strength.
No, not at all.
Tell us about your background. Where have you come from?
Sure. So, I was working in marketing, but it was more marketing analytics. But I always knew that I wanted to either go into brand management or marketing management. So I thought the best way to pivot into it is actually to go back and do my master's. And it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I kind of just like pushed it and I said, you know what, this is the time for me to do it. So yeah, I was just working for a couple of years within analytics, but I also wanted to make the insights that I would give to companies and clients better. And I thought, the best way for me to do that is just to go back to school, because obviously the marketing world is ever changing. So I just thought, okay, let me go back and do my master's. And honestly, like, it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I kind of wish I did it earlier, but yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed my experience at Cranfield. So yeah, that's my background.
Something tells me it's worked really well for you, but we're going to come on to that. Don't spill the beans just yet. Lorraine has an amazing story, which we want to hear. Everyone here has an amazing story. You end up somewhere amazing as a result of Cranfield. Tell us more, Tamira, about the course. So we joked about accounting and finance there. You're not expecting everyone to know everything about accounting and finance before they come? It's just one of the modules that they
No, don't worry.
study.
When you start, we start from the beginning, because like you can hear, they've both got very different backgrounds between all three students there. So we start at the very beginning with every module, so there's nothing to worry about. And we start with a range of modules, so yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on accounting and finance. You've got loads of exciting things like branding, strategy, consumer behaviour in the first term, my modules, CRM, and I think we're going to align this year. They're going to have a trip to a big CRM provider called Salesforce.
Wow.
So we try and make sure that there's practical learning to help them apply the theory of new topics like CRM, which they may not have looked at before, and they may not have managed CRM systems before. So we kind of handhold them really through the process, through the modules, and through the whole year. So yeah, I think it's an enjoyable process for them, hopefully, and one where they feel that they're supported. As a small course, or even when it's been a big course, we divide them into two cohorts, so they're in close proximity to all the academics. So there's always an opportunity to put your hands up, ask a question if you don't understand something, or speak to a member of staff at the end. Sharifa and I, who manage the programme, are always available for students to talk to. And as I mentioned before, in the end of the second term, you'll go into your thesis. So you'll work very closely with an academic member of staff who will be just at the end of the email or a Teams call or on campus if you needed to see them. So like Lorraine was my thesis student last year, and we worked very closely together, and that did overlap with her job applications, and we talked quite detailedly about the jobs that she was applying for and the presentations she had to give when she went in for her interviews. So you'll be really aligned closely with members of staff. So it's not such a huge university that you get lost in the system. We work really closely with you and to support you. And I think the students there could probably tell you a bit about some of those things.
Lorraine, I'm going to come back to you. Tell us more about that, and let's spill the beans and find out where you're headed and How did you get there? What sort of support did Cranfield provide you?
Sure. So I am working at the moment as a marketing manager. So I weirdly found the role through social media and then I applied through it. But as Dr. Samira was saying that so with my thesis, I had a month extension. So it kind of overlapped because I wanted to start working like from September. So it kind of overlapped. But as Dr. Tamira is saying that, because Cranfield is not a place where, you know, it's hard to speak to your supervisor or it's hard to get advice. I was able to like show her my presentation and actually speak to her about some of the jobs. And even when I got the job offer, like I actually asked her, like, do you think this is something that I can take? So I really feel like I was fortunate to have, and I'm not just saying it because Dr. Simmer is here, but I feel like I was really fortunate enough to have her as a supervisor because she
Oh,
really,
that's
really,
nice.
really did support me. So she really did support me. So yeah, no, I really appreciated that. So yes, at the moment I am working as a marketing manager and like I'm really, really enjoying it. It's nice to, because yes, you have the theoretical part that we learned from Cranfield, but it's nice to put things that we've learned into practice. And then also, because like I said, my background was more on the analytics side, I didn't really have that much experience in terms of how I've been able to execute marketing campaigns or like how I would build a marketing strategy. But I found myself in a lot of the interviews being able to use examples of the tasks that we've done in the past. And then also, what was nice was we actually had a talk with one of the students that was doing a part-time course, and his company was recruiting for a marketing manager. But because we had already built that relationship, as much as I didn't get the role, that was, you know, a relationship that was built through Cranfield, and I was able to apply, I was able to have a conversation. And instead of that being an interview, it turned more in terms of like just giving advice. So I really feel like Cranfield has helped in terms of networking and like building relationships. So it's really been a great experience.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Tamira, you would echo what Lorraine was saying there, but in terms of support, you're available by the sound of it.
Yeah, we're available, and I was her very lucky to have been Lorraine's thesis supervisor. You know, it's a mutual relationship. She was a great student, always early for class. So in fact, that was probably how we connected, because Lorraine was always half an hour early. So always early she would always be chatting as I was setting up, and you know, her thesis student aligned with my interest. In fact, we changed it a bit around AI, which Lorraine was particularly interested in. I had an interest in teaching with AI, which is something hopefully we'll be able to introduce in the future. So you will get a supervisor whose interest aligns with yours in terms of research, which enables the relationship to develop. But also I'm very interested in helping and supporting our students to get jobs. And last year, for the first time, I don't know if Lorraine can remember, and Depecia, we created a career fair of our own, because we felt the students were concerned that they were going to like a management career fair and it was too managementy. So we invited 4 companies to come along. We had all the students there. We invited someone from marketing to talk about their journey and their company, and someone from HR from all these companies, where the students actually, they got to talk about what they're looking for in a CV. And we'll be replicating that again this year. So we're creating things to try and support students, because they seem very anxious about getting a job. And a lot of the time we're like, you've got assignments coming up, please focus on your studies. You know, this will enable you to get there. But we felt that anxiety, so we created this career day. And we also created the internship, which wasn't available last year. You could do a thesis project aligned with a company. So in the past, I've had really big companies in the UK here, like Sainsbury's, running thesis projects with me on returns, where we put students in there to collect data. We've also had small companies like Boodles, who's a large luxury jewellery retailer. They've got only 9 stores in the UK. They had a student this year, and they looked at internationalisation for them, because during COVID they saw footfall on their website from other countries. So we had students doing questionnaires on platforms in other countries to talk about the Boodles brand and the awareness of the Boodles brand. So Boodles know what to promote about their brand if they were to potentially open in new markets. So we've always had these opportunities of company-sponsored thesis. But this year, feeling their anxiety of looking for new jobs, we've decided to integrate a 2 to 3 month internship in a company where they're working, as well as having a dedicated day a week to work on their thesis.
So how do you choose which companies that is? Is that something that students choose, or you have a set number of companies that people go to?
What's interesting is we have some companies that we've got a relationship with, like Boodles and Lush, the cosmetics retailer, but we also have companies approaching us. So I've got new companies this year in line with the returns process, who are coming in line with the internship. But also, what's interesting, I'll just pick up here, that Deepisha said that she self-sourced her own internship. So students can still do that. Ooh. They can still find a company and work with that company and try and align it with a thesis if possible. That's still possible. But at the moment, we have a few companies coming forward, and it's a competitive process for which students get aligned with which project. And that can be determined by writing 100 words about why you should work in Boodle. So for example, I remember in the past, one of the students that I gave the project to had done qualifications in diamonds, was interested in setting up her own jewellery retailer in China when she returned. So that was a student that I put in Boodle. So it's a competitive process. We want to make sure the right students get the right roles and work alongside the right company. And obviously we have great companies, so the students all want, but we can't put 100 students in Boodle. It's a teeny tiny company. This year I've got 4 companies so far working alongside us. 2 of them are podcasters, which is really interesting. What we call mumtrepreneurs here in the UK.
Mumtrepreneurs, you heard that word here first.
Yeah, so one's working on holistic health. That's called Jam Jar Jill. You can look her up on Instagram. She's going to be hosting a internship this year. And another one who works in helping mums go back to work when they're feeding young babies. But we've also interestingly got 2 amazing charities who have got in touch, very local in Milton Keynes, that want to have students to help them build their brands, make their marketing better. So these 2 companies, one is about brain injuries, and they're helping people and giving them more support after brain injuries, also based in Milton Keynes. And the other one is about adoption and adopting children who have had traumatic pasts. So we've got 2 really small, really valuable charities wanting help. So an internship is a great place to get extra help with students. And then we've also got some big companies like Ringway who work with all the motorways in Milton Keynes. They also have a lot of engineering roles. And because they're a large company, they have their own internship programme, and we'll be working alongside that and trying to make it work for a Cranfield student as well as their own work experience students. So there's a range of companies coming forward and committing to wanting internships with us at Cranfield.
So it's competitive, but you will find somewhere.
Yeah, and if you can't, if you don't win that job at Ringway, for example, or there will be someone like Deepisha who will self-source her own project.
Deepisha, we've got to hear about that. Tell us about your experience with internships.
So my internship was actually very helpful because I did social media and PR internship. Now it was self-sourced in the sense that I talked later with the guy who was actually running the company, but he was a Cranfield alumni. So they did come for a presentation in Cranfield. It's called Bounce AI. So it is a company wherein basically you can have your own itinerary, personalized itinerary, and that's how they have started the company. It's still in the nascent stage, but the founders, both of them are from Cranfield, and both of them are from marketing itself. So it's a very interesting story. Do look up the company. But in terms of internships, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of social media planning, and I did a lot of research in the sense of what would be the possible tie-ups that they could have with different companies. So a lot of partnerships. And since I was doing my thesis and negotiations as well, so you know how to get into that B2B market. So that was really, really helpful in me getting that UK experience here, because my audience was UK customers.
That's amazing experience you've shared there. Thank you. Stick around. Deepisha talked about thesis there. Say more about thesis and how you choose a topic. That was negotiation that we heard from Deepisha there. But
it was just interesting. I didn't realise her internship was with Bounce, who are 2 old students of ours as well, that we invited to talk at Cranfield, and obviously they were swamped with students at the end, asking them questions and getting engaged. But that's often how the relationships start. We also had Unisnacks come at our career day, and they ended up recruiting another couple of students from your programme, didn't they, Deepisha?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so in terms of how do you choose a thesis project, I think in about February or March, we post all the members of staff here that are teaching on the MSc Marketing and Research Active. So we'll post areas where we think research would be useful for the students to do. And the students pick a couple of professors or a couple of projects that they like. And again, it's competitive. You might get, 15 students want to do my project, and I can only take, for example, 5 students. We're all limited in terms of capacity to make sure that the students that we do work with get the appropriate time with us. But you'll apply for a couple of projects and a couple of members of staff, and there's a process where we allocate. Again, we try and allocate the right students to the right project. We've got really good history of making sure that everybody gets one of the top 3 projects that they've allocated. And so you should get a project that is in your area of interest on a scale of 1 to 3. So we make sure everybody gets aligned with a member of staff and a project that they find interesting, because that's what it's about. It's about doing a piece of research that you find really interesting and valuable for the future, so that when you go to a company for a job interview, you can say, I did this amazing project on digital marketing, or I did this amazing project with a large retailer. It's a way of you selling yourself and your interests, so that you can then get a great job aligned with what you're doing.
Win-win, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yan-Feng, can I come to you? Because we've heard the word competitive several times already, and maybe the audience is a little bit intimidated by that, but tell us, how has it been? What does competitive mean?
This is sorry again.
Have you been competing, or are you worried about competing for some of these internships, some of these projects that you're hearing about from Tamira?
Yeah, definitely. I think it might be very competitive for me to, there's a lot of other applicants. They will also like to apply for this internship or even graduate program.
But you've got interests and areas that you want to explore some more, right? So you're going to explore those with the course.
Yes. It's like now we have done strategic marketing planning and also consumer behavior, and as just Dr. Tamira said, we also been to some factory like Cadbury last month, so that gave me a lot of source that the thing and also the industry or the direction of my thesis that I want to pursue.
Okay, thank you. Coming back to that point about competitive, what appetite should students or people thinking of coming here have? They should be curious, I'm assuming.
Yeah, curious, excited, enthusiastic, interesting. Let's just say, like Yan-Feng, you went to Cadbury's. You don't know very much about probably that British brand. They own hundreds and hundreds of lovely types of chocolate bars.
I grew up with Cadbury's chocolate.
We were talking about, they give every student 2 chocolate bars and they come into the factory, and we were judging how quickly they were eating them by the time they got through the exhibition. But you were then tasked in your strategic planning module to actually present a strategic plan for one of the chocolate bars. And you present that with your cohort, and you've all chosen a different chocolate bar. So although it's competitive because you want to get the best grade, not everybody's going to get an A, you have to work together, you have to negotiate, you have to plan, and be enthusiastic, and that all comes across when the students present. And we're preparing them for real world scenarios of going up against jobs and being able, I think what Tapisha said was lovely, she was able to talk about the brands that she worked with, even if she didn't have that work experience. She was able to talk about, for example, the project brief which you did for Heineken Bria Amaretti. You probably could talk about the Cadbury's brand and how your group proposed to take the strategy forward. You might have been able to talk about Boodles and their expansion and what they were considering, because they've come to class to talk. So they have so much interaction with companies that they should be able to position themselves well when it comes to looking for a job at the end. I mean, I say competitive, but it doesn't feel that way, because actually, if I think about you as a group of students on the programme, you're like a little family, really. They're very close. They're working learning teams right from the beginning.
It's fun.
Yes, they're very enthusiastic. They're all motivated. They've all got great backgrounds, good qualifications to come to us in the first place. So they're very bright and they work really nicely together as a family. It doesn't feel competitive, I don't think, when you're sitting in a lecture. It feels like you're all supporting each other and working together to help you get the best results possibly. I'm not overstepping my mark by saying that, am I? Lorraine, you worked in teams all the time, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we did. And I definitely think in terms of, because you know how early on we were talking about the type of person that you would need to be able to, not necessarily be on the course, but I guess maybe let me say to do well, I think you have to be open to learning and improving, because even if I go with my team, so the first group work we had to do was like Tamira said, we went to Cadbury's and then we had to do a project based off that. But if I look at the presentation that we did at the beginning of the year compared to how my group did throughout the year, there's such a difference. And I almost feel like it was good that we didn't present well at the beginning and that our work was not great at the beginning because you can only go up. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, you really have to be open to taking advice from your supervisors and also build on it and improve. So I definitely think you have to be somebody that you're willing to learn and that you're open to feedback, essentially is what I'm trying to say. I think that's definitely a key to how my team were able to do well.
But Lorraine, I'm thinking it sounds like it's non-stop work, or is there play as well?
No, there is play. It is intense, but it's not, I wouldn't say that it's not manageable because I also worked as well. So I was working around 15 to 20 hours a week. So it's not that you can't juggle the two. My advice to whoever is coming is that you need to plan and you need to plan properly. So I'm someone that I like to go to the library and I treated uni like I was going to work. So I would get to the library for 9, I would have my lunch break, and 5:30 I would make a hard stop. But then from that, it meant that I was able to pace myself and do. I'm not saying that I didn't have late nights. Yes, I had some late nights. There were sometimes we'll be in the library till 5 a.m., but it's all part of the experience and everyone's in the library with you. I put on a lot of weight as well, I must say, this year because you just feed each other as well. So like as Tamira said, is with this cohort, yeah, the one that like my cohort, it was definitely a family. We were friends. We used to eat together, we would chill together. Because I didn't stay on campus, but I was on campus a lot, and I was even in like my friends' accommodation. So it didn't feel like it didn't feel like I wasn't living on campus. I was basically on campus. So yeah, no, it's been great.
That sounds such fun. Yan
It
Feng, can I
was.
come to you? Hearing what Lorraine said there, are you living on campus, off campus, and tell us a bit more about your accommodation.
I live in campus and I live in Bernice Young, so it's a very nice place. And we have 7 people live in my flat, and we have different people from different country. So some of them are from Italian and from Indian and Africa. So and it's very diversity in our flatmate, and I know a lot of people.
So you're cooking big meals for everybody there? How does that work out?
Yeah. At the beginning, we know each other, and after that, maybe in the evening on Friday or some during the weekend, we will gather together and cook different countries' food. Like last time, one of my flatmate, he's from Malta. So he cooked his country's local food for us. It's very different experience, and also we talk a lot about different cultures. And also me and another Chinese boy, we also cook Chinese food for our flatmate. So
Making me hungry just thinking about that. More on that story in a second. And Tamira, a question for you. This is from Mohammed. Mohammed's asking, I got a question regarding admissions criteria in particular. What weight does the admission team place on extensive and relevant work experience in a marketing field when evaluating candidates who may not meet the GPA criteria?
Oh, it's a really good question.
Is it essential that you come from that background? It doesn't sound essential from what you said.
Well, it's really valuable if you do have that background, but you might have, like I said before, you might have an engineering degree, but then you might have worked in digital marketing for 7 years. So if some things don't align, they outweigh other things. So every application is obviously different. You obviously have the opportunity to write a personal statement about why you want to engage in the programme. But the work experience, which is what you're particularly asking me about, is really, really valuable. But it doesn't mean you might have 3 years rather than 7 years, but you might have much more responsibility than someone else who's got 7 years. And you might have less work experience, but you've actually got an undergraduate degree in marketing, which others don't have. So we try and make sure it kind of levels up. So if you've got an engineering background, we will expect you to have some work experience to make sure that you can cope with the demands of the programme. But any work experience you've got is valuable. Don't miss anything off. Make sure you put it all in your application form, because it's important. It's important to your progress, and it's important, especially if you haven't got that undergraduate degree in marketing.
There's a follow-on question, and Mohammed, feel free to come back if that's not clear, so please keep the questions coming. Mohammed's also asking, how does the program integrate the process of achieving the MRS certificate in market research? Not sure if that's something that makes sense.
Yeah, so you do have an opportunity to take some extracurricular, I would say, credits, which enable you to get extra certificates. So there is an opportunity to take a Marketing Research Society exam. You don't have to take it. We do have a really good pass rate of students that do take it, and they do really well. I don't know if one of the students, maybe Deepisha or Lorraine, would like to talk about the MRS certificate and tell us a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, Deepisha, what is that MRS certificate?
So MRS certificate is, now I personally was very late to apply by the time the deadline was there. But MRS certificate is essentially that you basically not only learn how and what to research, but also you'll be recognized as somebody who is efficient in doing that research, and therefore if there are any research job also, it is like an added advantage, I'd say. And especially if you're somebody who wants to go into analytics or research particularly as a career, I think it's a great opportunity to have. And I'm not sure if this year also, but I think Cranfield offers a discount as well for the certificate. So I think it's worth exploring if you really want to get that added advantage, not only in terms of the certificate, but also if you're looking into core technical roles, like analytics, for example.
Thank you. You'd agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's a really valuable opportunity that's there. But like I say, if you're daunted by that, you don't have to do it. But most of the students do it, and most of the students do really well. And it's just another arrow to your bow. It gives you an accreditation, which is important when you're going to try to get a job and you're competing against other students.
You mentioned the word accreditation there. Let's just bring up the slides that we have. We've got an accreditations and some ranking pictures here. If people are thinking of choosing and coming to Cranfield, and we hope that you do, tell us about what these rankings mean. Why are they important for us?
So the rankings are accreditations of the universities and the programmes, and within the UK and within the world. They're really important for us to show the position of our course. Also, because we're a university that's postgraduate only, we don't have that undergraduate presence in the UK, so it's very hard to compete against big universities which have big undergraduates who then take the postgraduates wherever they did their undergraduate, for example. But you can see that we're ranked, the MSc in Strategic Marketing is ranked 5th in the UK. So for those of you not from the UK, that's extremely good, because there's over 150 universities in the UK, and our programme here is ranked 5th. And we've consistently, that quote there about the world rankings, we've consistently been in the top 10 of the positions within the UK, many of our programmes. And it's testament to how strong we are at Cranfield at building great programmes and offering great programmes aligned with companies, putting things into practice and enabling students to get really world-class jobs and positions afterwards. The other ranking that you can see on the slide is our positioning in the world. So you can see that the MSc Strategic Marketing is ranked 22nd in the world.
That's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. I'm really proud to be working on the programme, but also the students that come on the programme are equally as amazing.
Yes,
because they make us, and they make us what we are in the future. They're the ones that will be talking about us and talking about the programme and helping us, you can see, recruit new students for the future. To be on the programme. So we're really proud of our accomplishments. It's something we should be shouting about. This is a really well accredited, well perceived programme by industry in the UK as well as in the world. As you can see, we've got students from diverse countries representing us.
This is us shouting about how proud we are.
Yeah.
There's another slide here which talks about scholarships. I know there's loads of information on the website about scholarships. Is there a top line? Apply early, I guess, is the...
Apply early. There are scholarships available. Please do have a look at the website and make sure you connect with them so that if there are scholarships available, you can apply for them and get them. I think Yang Fen was telling us earlier that she's got a scholarship, and that's really helped her commit to taking the program on.
Yan Fen, let's hear from you if we can about your scholarship experience. How was that for you?
Yeah, so I got 5% early applied scholarship, and after that I also got a 10% scholarship of my grades.
And was that relatively easy to apply for in terms of the process?
Yes, I think it's not that difficult. So we will have like during your application, you will have a very clear instruction how you apply it. And for the 5% early bird scholarship, the school will send you the email about the deadline that you have submitted, accept your application. And also for the 10% scholarship of the grades, they will also give us very clear explanation to how you get this scholarship.
Thank you. And Deepisha, tell us about your funding arrangements last year when you were on the course. Did you get a scholarship or are you self-funded?
No, so I actually took an education loan, but in terms of scholarship, again, because my decision was quite late, I applied quite late. So my scholarship was also by the end of June, July for a September course, which you imagine. But yeah, the process, I think, I think there's a facility also that you get to talk on teams, whether it's the accommodation team or finance team, if you want to know more about it. But on the website also, it's quite clear. And since I've worked as a student ambassador, the website has pretty much all the information you'd need when it comes to funding specifically. So there would be some Prodigy finance as well, some Prodigy scholarship that are then like Yan Fen mentioned. Also scholarship based on your previous academic experience or academic grades rather. So yeah, I think it's fairly easy process to apply for scholarships. It's just that you have to be early. So make sure when you're applying, you have a plan ready for your scholarship also. I think you have to give an application, statement of purpose, I guess, yeah. Just fairly easy.
And Tammy, thank you for putting in the link in the chat. If you've seen that, please click that link and follow the lead there. Can we come back to something you mentioned earlier on, pre-sessional English, which may not make any sense to anybody, but what is that and why are we offering that?
Yeah, so to come on the program, you have to have good English, good written and good spoken English. If you have any concerns that you do not meet our English requirements, we have launched a pre-sessional course here at Cranfield. So you'd have to have a look on the website to see what the requirements are and what the requirements are for this pre-sessional course. But if you have a look and you fulfill the criteria for it, then you come to Cranfield early and you have the summer to work on improving your English so that you're ready to start on the course with the same level of English as everybody else on the program in end of September.
But I'm assuming the support doesn't stop there. There's people around, certainly in the library, that can help in terms of study skills.
In terms of study skills, there's lots of support. There's lots of courses run by the library that students can dip in and out of. And as I explained, it's not a small program, but it's a program where you have interaction with the staff. And when we do have large numbers, we divide the students into smaller cohorts. And also remember, you're in your learning teams. I think Yan Fen described her accommodation and the diversity of where her flatmates are from
That sounds fun.
really nicely. That's really replicated in the classroom. You'll be in a learning team, hopefully where people are from different parts of the world. So the levels of English language will be different for all of you. So you have each other to help each other. I always tell my students towards the end when we're doing theses, and I normally have 5 or 6 students from different parts of the world, why don't we read each other's theses? We're not doing the same topics. Why don't we help mentor each other in terms of our language skills? Like Lorraine was a British student, so I'm sure the international students were leaning on her a bit to try and help to make sure that their English was improving. Well, that's perfectly legitimate, and that's how we work. You know, you work closely with your colleagues and you work closely with members of staff because we're all here to help you.
Come and join the Cranfield family. There's a question here from Shiun, and this is about something you mentioned earlier on. In the marketing field, Shiun's saying, analytics and tools for analytics and the ability to handle data for enhancing marketing outcomes is getting more and more important. Is there enough opportunities on the course to learn about them? And what kind of tools and skills are we talking about here in terms of analytics?
So I think you will be delighted to know that data analytics is being taught by Dr. Anne-Marie Hanlon, who has got one of the most largest book on digital marketing that's available in the education sphere, and I think it's just being translated into Chinese, so it's
Wow.
being sold to lots of educational institutes throughout China, the world. We also have certain analytical software which students get taught to use, like SPSS and JUMP, so they can do lots of data analytics. I feel like I want to ask one of the students, how do you feel those modules like data analytics have helped you, considering the current environment and the demand for it?
Lorraine, can you think back to your data analytics course? What was that like?
Yeah, no, because as an analyst, because like I said, I came as an analyst, but I definitely learned. It's almost like I wasn't an analyst, if I'm honest with you, because we're using a tool that I'd never used before, and it's a tool that let's say they use it in market research. So I definitely think, and to be fair, that module's worth double the weighting of the other modules. So Cranfield does place a lot of importance on big data. So we have an exam for that. That was an open book exam. And then we also had an assignment. And a lot of the students did really, really, really well. And minus the actual big data modules, a lot of the assignments you do, you need data to back the work that you're doing. So it's almost like you kind of use data throughout all of your modules that you do. So yeah, I definitely think, like I said, I'm speaking as someone that was an analyst. I learned so much, and I definitely think it's added to my skill set as well. So you wouldn't have anything to worry about at all.
So you're not saying, Lorraine, that you were some sort of computer coder and everyone needs to know
No,
Python or
not
something?
no, not at all. But so there was two sides. So we did analysis through qualitative, and then we did quantitative analysis as well. So for example, you might decide you want to go into market research, and then also you have the MRS option as well. So you definitely, like, by the time you're done with that module, you'll learn so much. And we had Dr. Tina. I don't know if Dr. Tina will also be teaching that module as well, but she had so much patience. There was like times where one question will be asked 5 times by different students, but she had patience for us, and she literally held our hands, and yeah, she was just so patient with us, and she taught us. And yeah, and I honestly, like, people did really well on that module, so I think that says a lot.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant question. If you've not had a chance to ask a question, please put something into the text chat. Deepisha, can I come back to you, because I think something tells me you were a student ambassador. Is that right? What is that? Why did you do it, and what does it involve?
So, as a student ambassador, I mean, there are different roles to it. You get to chat as well with prospective students using UniBuddy or on the website. Now, particularly my role as a student ambassador was calling, where I used to talk to different students, prospective students, and help them out in their application process. And in the sense that if they have any queries, any hesitations about Cranfield University, about the course, pretty much anything related to Cranfield that I could help answer. It was a very simple process to sort of apply for it. There was an interview for it. And I think it was very fun in the sense, not only are you building your communication skills when you're talking to such a diverse audience, but at the same time, you are, getting to advocate about your own university where you're currently learning so much from. So I think it was a great experience in that sense. And it also helped me to, again, leverage that, okay, I have a work experience in UK because student ambassador roles are paid for. So I think it's a very good opportunity. If you're on campus, apply for student ambassador roles. I think they have they have openings in like 2 sets. So the first set would be done by now, but I think they'll reopen their hiring process in around May or April. So please look out for student ambassador opportunities. It'll give you so much pleasure in just helping out somebody, but at the same time, you'll be building on a lot of skills that you'll be later later understand that. So
It sounds really
very
rewarding role. Yan Feng, can I come to you? Think back a year previously. What advice would you give to someone thinking of coming on this course?
I think there's a lot of well, from my perspective, I think the Cranfield is a very nice place that it will stay very close to the industry, as just Dr. Tamira said. So we will have a lot of opportunities to stay connected with the industry. Almost like every month, we will have a job fair that you have opportunity to access with those company, and also the school will organize the webinar and to invite a lot of people who from the industry with a lot of experience. So my advice is you can find a lot of information that connect. Maybe you are interested in strategic marketing, and also if you have any question about us, you can also talk with us directly from the unibody, and also our website. You can also very easy to get use of us, get access with us. So my advice is just if you have any questions,
Get in touch.
yeah, get in touch.
Get in touch.
Yeah.
Wow. Lorraine, I'm going to ask the same question to you. Your previous self, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking of coming here? Maybe they're not sure. What advice?
I would say just do it. I think I guess with my situation is a bit different because I'm a home student, and you know, especially when you're like living in London, you hear about, let's say, the unis like King's College and stuff, so people haven't really heard of Cranfield. But when I found out about the university, I was just like, yeah, I would love to go here. It made sense. It just made so much sense. And at that time, it was scary for me because I was working, so I was just thinking, what am I going to do for the next year? But in hindsight, looking back, life just kind of worked out, and time really does fly. So I think if you're somebody who liked to do it, I just literally just do it.
Just do it. I love that advice.
Just
I guess
do it.
you'd agree with Lorraine.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deadlines, I presume there are deadlines for applying
I think I would just encourage you to apply as soon as
as soon as
possible.
possible.
Yeah, because there's a lot to put in place, not just getting on the course, it's getting your accommodation sorted, getting the bank sorted in Britain when you get over here if you're coming from international countries. So yeah, there's a lot to sort out if you decide that you want to do an MSc and you want to do it in March, especially, I think, as soon as possible.
And have an
Apply.
idea as to where you want to go, I
Yeah.
guess, and what you want out of
Yeah.
the course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Guys, we've run out of time, but it's been fantastic, Yanfeng and Deepisha and Lorraine, for joining us. Thank you so much. You're true ambassadors for the course. So thank you. And hopefully some people in the audience will get back in touch. You heard that offer there. Please get in touch if you're not sure at this stage. Tamira, fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you, ladies and current students, for joining us and promoting the programme. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your progress in the future. And Yingfen, I'll see you in class soon.
Yeah, because you've got a
Yeah.
class coming up this afternoon.
No, not this afternoon. I'm teaching her in about 2 weeks.
2
I'll be
weeks' time.
start my
Wow,
module,
Yanfeng, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
Here's to another 10 years.
absolutely.
That's possibly a
Yeah.
bit too far. It's fantastic. Please, if you've been watching this recording and you've gotten this far in the recording, congratulations. We clearly want to get in touch with you. So have that conversation with us. We want to see you on Cranfield campus very shortly. Thank you so much. The studio producers today were Marco Gomez and Robin Hackett. The producer was Tammy Argent-Peters. My name is Toby Thompson. Thank you for watching.